Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. Who is CODY CRAWLEY? Well, I'll tell you what. This white boy can fight, and we are not talking about Jake Paul. Okay? CODY CRAWLEY is a real threat in the welterweight division. Fighting out of Canada, been stateside 8+ years. Of course, he resides in Las Vegas. But let me tell you guys, his last fight was April 22, and he fought against, Josecito Lopez. And we know what Josecito Lopez, he's just a gatekeeper. But if you can get through Josecito, then there's probably some promise for you in your boxing career, because Josecito Lopez is not the kind of boxer that's just going to get hit and quit. He's going to fight and fight back hard. Ever since he had an opportunity to put himself on the map, when he fought Victor Ortiz, and they had that brouhaha, Victor Ortiz was banging him up, winning the fight, but Lopez didn't quit. He let his hands go, broke Victor Ortiz's jaw badly, and just hurt him. And Victor Ortiz couldn't continue to fight. Victor Ortiz got a lot of flack for quitting, but the man's jaw was broken in like 2-3 places, man. So ever since then, Josecito Lopez, a.k.a. the Riverside Rocky, has made made a name in the sport of boxing, has made pretty good money. But the thing is this, again, he's a gatekeeper. He's not elite, but he can push you, he can test you. And Crowley, of course, he hurt him several times in the fight. Crowley he knocked Josecito Lopez down, and he had him buzzed several times. But when you think about a guy like CODY CRAWLEY, 21 wins, 9 by KO, okay? Kind of reminds you of a Paulie Malignaggi with that record. But he's not Paulie Malignaggi. He can actually buzz you and knock you out. He's never lost. And the thing is about him, when you think about this man fighting out of Canada, but by way of fighting out of Las Vegas by way of Canada, he's 5'10". He has a 72-inch reach. So he's a tall welterweight. Okay, you see, like, you got Spence running around here about 5'10", 5'11". Keith Thurman's about 5'9". You got Crawford about 5'8", 5'9". But then you got this guy running around about 5'10", 5'11". Boots Ennis, I think, is closer to 6 feet. So he's another one of these big welterweights. And he's not the kind of guy who's going to quit. You know what I'm saying? CODY CRAWLEY comes to fight, and he sees himself as being the toughest welterweight in the division. He actually has gone on record and says, if guys think that they can back him up, that they're in for a rude awakening. And that's true when you watch him fight. And he poses a serious threat to these guys in the welterweight division. Now, when we talk, you say, well, why are you talking about CODY CRAWLEY? Well, I'm going to tell you right now why I'm talking about him. It's because he just signed a contract for the WBC Title Eliminator. Now, you guys may say, what do you mean, the WBC Title Eliminator? Keith Thurman is supposed to be fighting Errol Spence. Well, let's take a look at that real quick to get an understanding of what the hell is going on. Okay? So CODY CRAWLEY, in February, he's fighting somebody for WBC Title Eliminator. Now, it's a little, these sanctioning bodies are so frustrating. Because when you look at the WBC, right, Errol Spence is the man. He's supposed to be fighting Keith Thurman. But it makes you wonder exactly what's going on with Crowley and Crowley's opponent. Like, who is Crowley's opponent? Because they haven't said anything. I canvassed Twitter, I canvassed Instagram, I canvassed the internet, and I cannot find who the hell Crowley's fighting next. So I started going back here looking, and I said, okay, Errol Spence is the man, he's supposed to fight Thurman. Okay? Now, I guess after Spence fights Thurman, then the next WBC mandatory will be the winner of CODY CRAWLEY and whoever the opponents are going to be. That doesn't mean that after Spence fights Thurman, if he beats Thurman, he gets ready to fight Cody Crowley. That's not how that works. Remember, after Spence fights Thurman, if he wins, now he's more than likely going to fight Boots next after Thurman, because the WBA, all that stuff going on with Stan Eunice and Virgil Ortiz is up in the air because, Stan Eunice had his appendix removed. So more than likely, it's going to be Spence, Thurman, then Spence, Ennis, that covers the IBF, then Spence and the winner of Stan Eunice Ortiz. Then the cycle starts back over again if Spence does not fight Crawford to unify. Then it's back to the WBC, and at that point, Crowley will be looking to fight whoever the champion is, and if it's Earl Spence. So essentially, Crowley getting a shot at the WBC title, you figure Thurman and Spence around April, then probably not to 2024, because Spence is going to probably fight 3 times if he stays at welterweight. Now the thing is, all of this can kind of shake up, and Cody Crowley could get his shot at a title sooner if Spence drops the titles and moves up to 154. But nonetheless, the thing is trying to figure out who in the world is this guy, Cody Crowley, going to fight in February, see? So now when we take a look at it, Keith Thurman, I seriously don't think he's going to fight Keith Thurman because of everything that's going on as far as Keith Thurman being a mandatory and going in there with Spence. We know it's not Virgil Ortiz. We know it's not Boots Ennis. If it was Ugas, I think Ugas would have said something, but I think he's still healing with his eye and having double vision and all that. Delaney Mbingi, I don't know. Mario Barrios. He fought Thurman, okay? But he lost, but he's ranked at number 9. Abel Ramos. I'm not so sure those two guys earned the right to get in there with a Cody Crowley. And I'm going to tell you right now, I know people who know Mario Barrios. I don't think Mario Barrios is looking to jump into another high-risk fight at 147. He may be looking to get into another fight to, guarantee himself a win and take, another 2-3 fights before he starts looking at some of these other killers at 147. But when you come down the list a little bit further, okay, Rashidi Ellis, he's, off the map right now. He's fallen off the radar because he took a loss. And then you got some of these other names. And I just can't see him going to an eliminator with these guys. What I do see is this guy here, Egidijus Kavaliauskas, Mean Machine. That's who it could be. And for those of you who don't know who that is, that guy is a problem. And if Crowley gets in there with him and Crowley can beat him, that would speak volumes about Cody Crowley and how promising of a career that he has ahead of him. Now, a lot of you who are saying, okay, we're talking about this guy, Cody Crowley. I've never seen him fight. Well, what I can tell you is he has a very expanded amateur career. He did a lot of big things for Canada, won, a lot of awards on the amateur circuit, actually made the Canadian Olympic team. But this is the thing. He and Floyd Mayweather sparred over 150 rounds. He was there in the camps for Floyd Mayweather when Floyd Mayweather was getting ready for Pacquiao, when Floyd Mayweather was getting ready for Conor McGregor. Cody Crowley was right there getting that work. Now, he's coached by Hasim Rotman's brother. Not Hasim Rotman Jr., Hasim Rotman. He's coached by his brother. And the way all that worked itself out is because Crowley was having a lot of ups and downs with just depression, and if he wanted to be a pro boxer and, coming to the States and kind of getting beat up for 6 months, then, returning back to Canada, being in the local pubs, and, just kind of giving up on his dream and just people there kind of talked to him. Was like, look, what are you doing here? Kind of wasting your life. Go back and chase your dream. So when he returned back, that's where he was fortunate enough to meet Hasim Rahman's brother, and they saw how hard he worked. And, you know, stars lined up. Next, you know, he's being trained by him, got a place to stay. He's in fights. He's winning his fights. Had a run-in with Dana White on that initial trip to the States before he went back to Canada depressed. Told him he was tough, and Dana White basically told him, look, come back in 10 years. So when CODY CRAWLEY returned, he was winning as a professional fighter. Everything was looking up, hooking up with the Mayweather gym, ran into Dana White again. They laughed. They've actually taken pictures together since. So with CODY CRAWLEY and him coming out now, and, you know, you're seeing this more interviews starting to circulate with CODY CRAWLEY, because he's now talking about how he sparred, you know, with Devin Haney, Tank Davis. And he went on record to say he's never been hit that hard by anybody. He said Tank Davis hits very hard. He says the hardest he's ever been hit. So now that he's talking, he's saying the right things. He's saying the kind of things where it's creating some pretty good sound bites. It's resulting in guys who are doing videos on him getting a lot of clicks. And also it's getting his name out there because he's from Canada. And just, you know, culturally, it's not quite like, I'd say here stateside with some of the guys who are a bit more vocal, a bit more boisterous, a bit more loquacious, a bit more, you know, liking to brag about themselves. Crowley's just like, I'm just gonna keep winning and let my work speak for itself. You know, that's not his style. He's like, as long as I keep winning, something's gonna happen. And I'm gonna tell you right now, and hopefully you take this the right way, but I'm gonna assume that, you know, the subscribers I have on my page is more of a mature audience than the audience that's just running around here and behaving like those fools who are acting in the crowd at the Tank Davis fight, ignorant as hell. I think we're mature enough to handle what I'm about to say. CODY CRAWLEY, the fact that he can fight, right? And the fact that he's a respectful fighter, you see, that's going to open a lot of doors for him. But if he can pull off a huge win in February, especially if it's against a big name, a lot of eyes are going to be on him, because that means now Crowley is looking at the Jerron Ennis, which he's called out. He's looking at the Earl Spencers, which he's crawled out. He's looking at the Terrence Crawfords. He's looking at the Keith Thurmans. You know, he's looking at anybody elite at 147. And him having a 5'10" frame, he could probably bubble up to 154. But what makes it so interesting is if you put a lineup of these pictures, right? Let me go back here. I'm going to show you. If you put a lineup here of these pictures, right? Let me make this a little smaller so y'all can see it. Okay? You put a lineup of these pictures, and you're talking about Spence, Crawford, Ennis, Ugas, Thurman. Crowley is white. And he's from Canada. No one here is from Canada. And Vanessian, I mean, you know, look, Russian, Armenian, Staniunas, Lithuanian. A lot of people are going to still sit there and just try to, you know, compartmentalize these guys. But I'm going to sit here and say Crowley would be really the only white boy really making noise. I know Staniunas, but again, he's from Lithuania, but Crowley doesn't have an accent. Crowley sounds like someone who could be your next door neighbor. And what I'm saying is I think he's going to get a lot of attention because there's not going to be a language barrier. He's not going to have this distinct vocal signature. He's just going to be a guy who looks like someone you would see when you're out and about. The difference is he can really whip ass. It's like Caleb Plant. Caleb Plant is just a local boy, white guy who can fight his ass off. And, you know, I think we can all have this discussion because you look at when a lot of these fighters were looking at Caleb Plant, especially what happened here in his last fight, a lot of talk about race came up because, unfortunately, these fighters tend to think that maybe because of the color of someone's skin, they may not have the skill set or the heart or the ability to whip their ass. And we all know when it comes to combat sports, it doesn't matter. It's the greater the effort, the greater the result. That actually has nothing to do with race, with religion, with economic status, nothing. Okay? You put the work in, 9 times out of 10, your results are going to be greater. And I think with a guy like CODY CRAWLEY, he's a step closer to really making some serious noise. And that's what you want to see happen with a guy like CODY CRAWLEY. Let him get his opportunity. Not quite sure, who it's going to be. But again, when I look at this WBC listing right here, makes me wonder, who in the world is he going to be fighting? But I'm thinking it's going to be this number 7 right here. Let me make this a little bigger. I apologize moving this damn thing around so much. Yeah, I like that better right there. Where is it? I like this right here. I'm thinking it's number 7. Agidijus Kavaliauskas. I don't know that for a fact. That's really what I'm thinking. But that is going to be a good fight. This guy, Kavaliauskas, is the one who fought Terrence Crawford and knocked Terrence Crawford down. This guy can fight. But we all know Terrence Crawford, there's levels to it. Terrence Crawford showed that he just had levels. He had gears that is probably impossible for anyone to get into when Terrence Crawford locks in and decides he wants to get you out of there. But I think this is a good measuring stick for Crowley. And if he can get through him, Crowley is in the mix. And you're going to hear his name talked about a lot more. Right now, they won't really say much about him. You just hear it on, the channels of a lot of us content creators, and occasionally you may see something pop up there on Twitter, but he's not really getting the attention he needs. But I'm telling you right now, this man comes out of the Mayweather camp. He sparred with the likes of everybody, from the lighter weights up to weight divisions 1 or 2 above him. So he's not afraid to mix it up. He has the experience and he has the respect. We're going to start hearing more and more boxers talk about CODY CRAWLEY. You're going to hear it. Let me see if I can show y'all something, man. Let's make this a little bit smaller. Jumping around from screen to screen. So this is CODY CRAWLEY right here. Normally you can go here and you can see what he has coming up next. So you see when you look right here, it just shows that his last fight was in April against Josecito Lopez. But normally when they have another fight scheduled, it would show above that one. It would show pending or whatever. But because his opponent's name hasn't been provided, that's why it's not listed here. But I'm telling y'all right now, this is the man y'all need to be paying attention to. It's just unfortunate he's going to have to wait a year till if he wins, to get a shot at that title. But he'll probably have an opportunity to fight a couple more times if he keeps winning. And then he'll get his shot. But that being said, I'm going to leave it as that. He's got a huge following in Canada already. So you got the guys coming out of Canada. Pascal, he's still plugging along. You had Adonis Stevens, things happen with him. And now you got Crowley out here. So, and then the other guy was Lucien Boutte was from up there too. A couple guys fighting out of Canada, man, that made a name for themselves. But as of right now, the guy carrying the torch is CODY CRAWLEY, and he'll get his opportunity to really put Canada on the map. Towards the end of February, his opponent has yet to be named, but I truly believe he's going to be getting in there with that guy they call the Mean Machine, and that's not going to be an easy fight. But hopefully, he pushes through. But that being said, y'all keep cool. More on the welterweight division. I'm telling you, there's a lot going on. And some of the stuff isn't being discussed because for the most part, you just hear, the big names, Crawford and his, Thurman, Spence, and that's understandable. But I have a feeling after February, if he pulls off a win, his name is going to start being spoken about a lot more. That being said, y'all keep cool. Remember what I'm telling you about this guy, CODY CRAWLEY. He can fight. He's got the amateur background. He's got You know what? Before I end this video, you know what's so good about CODY CRAWLEY? Is he has faced adversity already. He's had the self-doubt already. He's come through that. And when he came through that, he didn't come through it just to run into roadblocks again. When he did come across any impediments that could prevent him from being successful, he found a way to win and push through it. So that tells me that him losing a fight or him being tough in a fight, he's not going to quit. He's not going to quit. Like, he's been through that, man. And he's had those experiences, so he knows how to deal with them. Unlike, you know, some of these guys who become professionals used to get in the way, and then the impediments hit them, the roadblocks hit them, the obstacles hit them, losing hits them, depression hits them. All of that madness, man, that could derail a boxer. He's already been through that. I'm not saying he can't go through it again, but I think he has a better chance of persevering and handling any bit of adversity that comes his way than a lot of these guys who are active boxers, and especially in the welterweight division, which is the division he's fighting in. So that being said, CODY CRAWLEY, going to be paying attention to him. He can fight, but we'll see what happens if he gets an opportunity and if he seizes the opportunity or not. Rising to the occasion. That being said, y'all keep cool. Shout out to the veterans, all 7 continents. I'm in the breeze.